Welcome everybody to the first official Geeks 5 Ever podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Goku. Here's my co-host, Chester the Investor.
How's it going, guys? This is Chester.
And here we're doing an interview with Zarek 2007 and Victoria Burtz, who also goes by Tori. She's also kind of known in the community, and so is Zarek. Both of them are very well associated with many anime and comic book conventions. Zarek has apparently worked with many conventions such as Anime Matsuri, Kamikaze-Con, Comic Palooza, and so on and so forth, including one that's local to Houston known as Delta H Con. Now, before we continue and introduce our guest, we're going to be talking about something that plagues the community, con drama, one of the very foundations that is tearing the community apart. Now, con drama is very, very notorious for tearing friendships apart. Whenever we go to, a lot of us go to these anime conventions and comic cons as a way to get away, like vacations. I know, Chester, whenever you go to a con, you like to go on vacation.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it distracts the mind. You know, it's a new experience, and you actually get to meet people, and just have an awesome experience.
Yeah, I mean, we love meeting people. I met the con chair for San Japan. San Japan is in San Antonio. We had a few drinks. We partied. It was New Year's 2011. It was very awesome. I also met the con chair for several other cons. I know some of the staff members for OniCon and Comic Palooza. Now, for those of you that don't know, we will be at Comic Palooza June 17th through the 19th at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. Now, to introduce our guest, here we have Victoria.
Hello.
And here we have Zarek 2007.
What's going on, y'all?
Now, one of the things that we want to talk about today is con drama. And I know both of you have had a lot of experience in this subject. And honestly, I think we can all agree that the community would be a lot better if people would tone down the con drama. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to go away, because nothing ever goes away. But we can help the community to improve it. Now, Victoria, can you tell us firsthand experiences you've had, with drama? It doesn't have to necessarily be drama between you and other cosplayers or congoers. It can be drama that started outside the convention and made its way to it, because that's actually how 80% of the drama in conventions starts. It starts outside and it makes its way, it creeps its way into the convention, and that's how it escalates.
Yes, I've actually had some drama. One of the things would be actually commissions. I've made 2 commissions for 2 different people. One was many years ago, and then one was very recently. And then that same person I had to unfortunately cut off, and then they wind up telling a bunch of their friends and wound up harassing me at a convention. Another would be, I've had a friend who, friends who have been harassed for not physically fitting a character personally, as far as height, weight, or race, or gender.
Okay, Ms. Tori, here for some of the congoers that maybe are probably new at this, what are commissions?
Commissions are whenever you make something, or like it can be a prop, it can be an item, or it could be just, clothing in general for a specific cosplay. It can be just part of it, or it could be the whole thing.
Like, if somebody were to hire you to make the proper cosplay, that would be considered commission?
Yes, and then they would pay me, or if somebody else is doing it, they would pay somebody for that particular labor, your time, and the materials.
So it's safe to assume that it's custom orders for the individual ordering. And
then money, I guess, since it consists with money, that would cause a lot of drama then between a lot of people.
And not to get too into history, but it seems to me that a lot of the problems since the dawn of man has been currency, whether it be bartering or actual currency being involved. Currency has always been something that divides, not just power, not just land, but wealth. Zarek, thank you for being on the show today. Can you tell us firsthand any experiences you've had with drama in the community? It doesn't just have to be the convention. It can be a lot of cosplayers have meetups. They do a lot of meetups where they meet up somewhere, cosplay, have, just get to know each other. And that's kind of cool. But can you tell us a little bit about your experiences with any situations where it was kind of awkward to be there, or maybe some escalation between 2 people that shouldn't have escalated happened?
Yeah. Well, personally, drama has not affected me yet. I have seen and observed a lot of drama between friends, former friends, now turned enemies, between organizations, between other groups, mostly either between two rivals or two other organizations. It depends on what type of drama that is causing the source. For example, I've seen one friend turn on against another for basically saying that their cosplay is better than said person. I've seen others harass, stalk, and sometimes bribe would-be judges during cosplay contests. Let's see here, and other stuff.
Well, it seems to me like you're describing a corrupt government. It seems you're saying judges are bribed, they're being stalked. When you talk about this, it sounds very frightening, especially to people that are new to the community, because the community is bursting with new attendees. We're getting so many Comic Cons now and so many more anime cons that the younger generation is coming forth, and we have to set the example for this younger generation. I mean, me and Chester, we don't. I go to a lot of conventions, but he's new to the community, and that's why he's here, because he's asking the questions for the people that are new. So if they don't understand something when listening to this podcast, we can further explain. But it seems to me like there's kind of like an elitist ego inflation kind of self-entitlement going on. It's like a pyramid, like we're at the top of the food chain and you're at the bottom. And it sounds like it's going on a lot between the cosplayers, and it's kind of hard to think something like that would be possible, because cosplaying, is what I've seen so far, seems to me like it's more of a hobby than a contact sport.
You are right on that part. Right now, there are elitists who think that they are superior to others.
But why would there be elitists that think they're superior? What makes them believe that they are superior to anyone else?
Would that be just because of the experience of these congoers? Because they think that they have the right to treat other people bad just because they have attended more, or just the experience on that?
You're right on both parts. When a cosplayer is already becoming very well known, and that small taste of fame will go straight to their head and will corrupt them very easily.
Miss Tori, can you elaborate on the subject?
Pretty much it becomes a narcissistic battle match, in my opinion.
You're right on that.
Best way to explain it. Pretty much exactly what Eric said, and I'm going to kind of piggyback. I've known friends and people who have been wonderful people. They've always helped out and everything, with even newcomers, with people who couldn't even make their own commissions. They'd be willing to help out no matter what. They could go ahead and help out with their cosplays. They would help out with makeup, give them tips and everything. And then just all of a sudden, after a few, couple hundred likes on a page, or after a few photographs, they turn into some, narcissistic diva, and that could be male or female, or, either, both, whatever they identify as. So, in like Eric said, it gets to their head, and then they just automatically think that the world owes them, that people flaunt that they're pretty much a god in their own sense.
Wow, I had no idea it could get that bad. And this, because of this sudden inflation of their ego and sudden entitlement, this leads to drama as like fighting amongst the other cosplayers in the community, because honestly, I don't think too much of myself as a cosplayer. I don't think that I'm better than anyone, or if anyone thinks they're better than me, I don't think I would make a whole ordeal of the situation. I mean, Chester, what do you think? I mean, do you think if somebody thought they were better with you, you would escalate it to the point where it caused an ordeal between the community?
Not so much. Myself, as a newer con goer, I guess, I've never cosplayed, but I would think that I wouldn't make it so much into a drama, but it would hurt my feelings, actually, if I was new at this. Because somebody, being new, you would go to all these people that have been at this, to try to get an idea on how to start your own cosplays, how to start going at it, being so much that the anime community is so huge, and why pick a fight? But maybe this could hurt all these other newly congoers to like probably just push them back and not even try anymore,
discouraging them from also becoming part of the community. And it seems to me that's just not in cosplay, though. I mean, that seems to be everywhere nowadays. I mean, you have cosplayers like Jessica Nydri who make a living off selling photo prints of themselves in different cosplays. She does wear very revealing outfits, and I think she makes a living off of doing that, off of her YouTube videos and her prints.
She's also a model outside of cosplay.
Okay, there you go. She's also a model. I met her in person. She seemed very nice, but I've heard stories where she was kind of mean. Or I also heard stories about other cosplay models, such as Yaya Han, who seems to be another very well-known, popular cosplayer. But like I said before, because cosplaying is not a contact sport, I don't believe that we should have all this rivalry and bickering amongst the cosplayers, and yet it still does exist. But at the same time, cosplayers aren't the only ones that are fighting at these cons. I mean, you have the ravers who fight with the gamers, or the gamers fight with the LARPers, or the LARPers fight with the cosplayers fight with other cosplayers. Or it's kind of like a WWE Royal Rumble. Everyone's fighting everybody, and they're trying to see who's going to be the last man standing and going to WrestleMania. So, I mean, as far as drama goes, though, drama seems to, when people go to a convention, like I said, we go in a vacation experience. We go to have fun, meet people, party a little. We're adults. I mean, we like to party.
Yeah, pretty much, but just have a fun time and, just experience all these new things and talk to meet all these people with just wonderful experiences and just ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I met some great cosplayers. They had some wonderful stories. They shared tips on how to make certain cosplays. And it's beautiful because it is an art form. It is a community that's trying to help it. But at the same time, there's like this dark cloud that hovers above. And it just ruins it for some people. I don't know. I heard rumors about sudden con drama escalating at this year's anime Matsuri, and I don't know that much as to what went on. But one thing that I did hear is the drama started before the convention and it made its way into the convention. And I think, I'm not exactly sure, but I think Miss Victoria Tori here was involved somehow. Can you share with us a little bit about the drama? And Mr. Zarek, sir, were you also involved with this drama, or did you hear about it?
I just heard about it, but it pushed me. Somewhat pushed me over the edge because it affected people that I consider close family.
Okay, and we'll elaborate on that. But Miss Tori, can you please share with us some of your experience as to what happened?
Pretty much it's going to refer to what I said about, people stealing from commissions and stealing commissions and taking, and what I mean by stealing commissions, I mean either not paying for it, like recent drama is going on between other people right now.
You mean similar to the recent scandals that plague a certain cosplayer in the community?
Pretty much. But like not paying for a cosplay, or whenever the cosplay is paid for, then taking credit for making it whenever it's obvious that they did not make it, or even whenever it isn't obvious that they're making it. But that's pretty much what happened to me at this anime, before this anime Matsuri.
We're gonna go back to we're gonna take a step back and we're gonna ask you about that. Not that I condone, but what is the big issue? Like, you commission a cosplay for somebody, they buy the cosplay, and they're taking credit for making the cosplay. What is it's a very taboo thing to do, taking credit for somebody else's work. But why is it such a major factor in cosplaying? For those people that don't know, I mean, there's a lot of people that don't know. I know Chester doesn't know. I kind of have an idea, but it is very taboo to take credit for somebody, especially not just cosplay though, in art and as well. Or it doesn't really matter. You can make a statue or painting, and if you take credit for it and you didn't make it, then that's very bad.
I think that would be considered probably stealing or stealing an idea.
But
for that.
you paid for it. But yeah, can you please?
Because I actually know some people who make a living, like it pays their hospital bills. Pretty much, if you take credit for somebody who commissioned it, even if you bought it, word of mouth is how commissioners make money. There are people, like I said, that I know that pay for their medical bills, have serious, honest medical bills that need to be seriously paid for, and they lose out because of the fact that people take credit for their ideas. They take credit, they go ahead and they take credit for their actual commissions, and then that person loses out on money.
All right. Well, thank you for elaborating on the subject. Man, it seems there's like a lot, and it's very frightening, especially if you're new.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of hassle, especially going through all these money problems, and I would see why that would cause, I guess, a bigger problem on that.
But why doesn't everyone just make their cosplay? I mean, why it doesn't? I understand that commissioning, people do make a living off commission, but why doesn't just everyone just buy like a costume from, or just, you know, make something that they have at home and just wear that? I mean, I saw a Master Chief cosplayer at an 8Con back in 2008 in Dallas, Texas. They actually made a Master Chief out of cardboard, and it kind of looked like a 16-bit graphic Master Chief. It was all square shaped, and it didn't look very elaborate with the detail, but it was actually kind of cool. And, you know, the guy said that he couldn't afford a cosplay, he just made it. And I think it's kind of interesting when people just make cosplay. However, we are going to get back to our subject at hand. The drama at Anime Matsuri. So it started with a cosplay commission that somebody was taking credit for.
Yes.
Okay, can you share with us any more details as to what caused this drama and how did it escalate? Like, what led into the escalation of other people getting involved?
Well, pretty much what happened is it wasn't just the fact that they took credit, but they also didn't pay for it in full. So they only paid a specific amount, and then they didn't pay it in full. So I pretty much almost made that costume completely almost for free. Not only that, but they were outstandingly rude. Just, I don't ever go ahead and put somebody out on the spotlight for anything except for how they treat other people. And this person was really, really horrible despite everything that I did and everything that I've done for years with this person. And so then whenever the convention happened, before the convention actually even happened, we all had a truce. We all said, okay, well, we're just going to go ahead and we're all just going to go ahead and have fun at this convention. We're not going to go ahead and bring this in. We're not going to bring anybody in. The convention is for everybody to just have fun. That was the whole plan. And then all of a sudden, the convention started, and I was stalked for the only day that I could get off work. The only day that me and my significant other could get off work for this convention, we were stalked the entire time by this person and their friend. And then not only that, but then coming the end of the convention, the person not only stalked and harassed one of my friends, but then stalked and harassed all the friends that were attending the convention and hanging out with me. And that it got so bad to where we had 5 staff members show up and had to threaten to call the cops on the person who harassed me and their friends to get away.
When you say staff, you mean actual staff?
Like, we're talking about actual Anime Matsuri convention staff members, and we're talking about the head of that little department area right by the dealer's room. Like, actually 5 of them had to go ahead and tell the person to leave, or an officer was going to be called.
Oh, wow. I mean, anytime you get local law enforcement involved, you know the situation has escalated to a tier that it cannot return from.
Actually, Miss Tori, could you actually explain maybe a little bit more? Why was this person so upset if they didn't even pay for this cosplay enough to go to the, I guess, edge of actually going and harassing you and your significant other? That's what I don't understand.
Yeah,
they really didn't pay for it.
That seems like a big question for me too. They didn't pay for the costume, obviously. They escalated the situation with you. However, did you go as a debt collector towards them? Like, hey, you haven't paid us. Where's our money? Did you maybe approach them trying to collect a debt at all?
No, I let whenever they paid, I let them know that they needed to, pay me the rest of the outfit. And then I found out just what they were saying about me and the fact that they were trying to take credit. And just, I have known this person for 3 years, and just after 3 years of having to deal with this stuff, I just was finally, it was just the last straw that broke the camel's back. I was done being used. I was done having my money taken from me. I was done going out of my way for this person. I was done just doing everything that I possibly could, because whenever people ask for help, I like helping. I don't have a problem with helping, but this person just took way too much. I mean, we're talking about almost $300 on this person, okay? And that's not including the con.
$300. I don't even think we make that much.
That's a lot of money. But Miss Tori, another question, since I'm, I guess, new to this, environment, and I don't want it to sound like I'm putting you on the spot because you're a lovely person. And what methods are you using now, or are you still actually doing commissions to help other cosplayers? But what is the method that you're using now to avoid all these issues, so it won't happen again?
Pretty much, I don't have a problem with new cosplayers asking for commissions. That is absolutely no problem. But if it's something that I can't really honestly personally handle, I know people who are way better than me that are able to take that. As far as trying to avoid the same situation, I'm just now going to just have to offer the money up front.
And are you putting this on writing? Is there maybe like a contract that you are doing, or maybe you should think about doing this, so you can have something on writing to protect yourself and actually,
or do you accept like a deposit or something,
or avoid all this, so you can avoid all this harassment from people that shouldn't even be harassing you.
Well, maybe as a person that buys frequently from eBay, she could go through PayPal, because PayPal does offer protection to anyone buying from anyone online. Remember, if you buy something from someone on the internet, you always want to go through PayPal, folks, because they do offer insurance for everything that you buy as a good. Whenever a seller or a commissioner asks you, hey, can you send it to me as a gift? Always deny. You always send it as a good for goods or services, because then you can be refunded if they do not deliver with the product. And I have run into scam artists on eBay a lot. I will take it with eBay and I will take it through PayPal, and they will actually refund me my full amount, which is really good. So for anyone out there that's looking to buy commissions from somebody from the internet, I recommend that you only do through PayPal. Do not send it as a gift. Don't do Google Wallet, actually, because that's like wiring money to somebody else. Don't do gift cards, unless you actually know them in person. I wouldn't do money orders or cash, but nonetheless, if you're going to buy, I do recommend that you only go through PayPal if you have to do it through the internet. Most of the time, whenever you're buying cosplays from other people, not most of the time, but sometimes you can do it locally and you can do it in person. Now, I actually want to go back. You said that this person was talking about you. They were gossiping behind your back?
Yeah, I was actually told by multiple people that apparently the entire time I had been sewing the outfit and that I had been helping them with, making sure that this cosplay got done in time, and they were paying me that measly part of what it was worth, which barely even covered the materials. Apparently, they went on to tell everybody else that I had apparently been physically abusive and that I had just kicked them out only after being, around me for 2 days. And I'm like, I actually have witnesses. I actually have an entire house full of witnesses, 4 witnesses that say that this person has been, was with us for an entire week.
Okay, well, we're not going to ask too many more questions about your personal life, because it is getting a little personal. And I understand that, because this is how it started. But at the same time, this drama, once it started at the con, and I have to ask, that other people get involved in the drama that aren't initially part of the circle that it was about. Like, let's say you have a situation with you're player A and you have a problem with player B, but here comes player C and it has nothing to do with them, and yet they're throwing their name in the middle and escalating the situation. Do you feel like that happened? That's why it escalated so much during the convention?
Actually, the only reason why some of the stuff did escalate is because it turned out that specific person hadn't just only, gone after me and hadn't only, excuse the term, but kind of screwed me over was also other people that this person has actually harmed. And so it wasn't just, oh, hey, I'm going to go ahead and escalate it. It was, no, finally somebody is speaking up. I'm not crazy. So it was a bunch of people who have collectively had the same issue with this one person, all decided to come up and be honest. And there's screen caps, there's everything, there's actual evidence. These people aren't just trying to join in with the main crowd.
To protect the individuals, because Geeks 5 must stay neutral at all times and we do not take sides when it comes to certain subjects, or at all, this podcast does not take sides. We ask tough questions, or we ask, maybe not, depending on the situation, we won't ask a tough question, but we'll ask a question. And we want to know the truth. We're not here to kiss anyone's ass or clean anyone's slate. We're not here to make you look like a saint. We're here to find out your version of the story. Now, to protect said individuals, except for the people that are guests in our podcast, no names will be mentioned, or we will not share any screen caps because, for obvious reasons, we're trying to protect ourselves and the people involved, because we do not want our listeners to go and bully these individuals, because bullying is also another thing that is involved in the cosplay community. As you said, there is the pyramid thing where people bully other cosplayers. Mr. Zarek, sir, can you share with us a little bit on your take on the drama, maybe not just the drama at Anime Matsuri, but drama, like, do you feel like the reason why it escalates so much is because individuals escalated to the point, or, like one person couldn't keep their mouth, they couldn't like stay quiet, and so they had to tell the world what was going on with their business? Do you feel like people sharing their business online also escalates the problem, and people that aren't involved suddenly involve themselves in a situation that didn't call for their involvement?
It can happen. Basically, there are individuals that will like to use their Facebook pages, whether it be a personal page or a fan page.
Is that common within the community, people using their fan pages with all their followers to escalate a situation that doesn't call for escalation?
Yes, it is possible.
Yeah,
I've seen it happen with my own eyes. I've witnessed an entire argument. Like in the one moment the moment they posted their entire status, within either a minute or so, you'll have people either agreeing with said person or other people with different counter views start arguing, and the next thing you know, it'll start escalating into a flame war, and then from the flame war, it'll leave the digital world into the real world. It'll take it personally.
A little bit of a Digimon reference there with the digital world and real world. All right. When you say flame war, now that is an interesting term to use when you're talking about drama. Flame war.
Is that like relationship problems?
Are we talking about like Johnny Storm, like Flame On? I mean, can you elaborate?
Ghost Rider?
Flame war usually refers to when an argument basically turns from a debate or either some sort of civilized conversation
Civilized isn't the first word that comes to mind when you say flame war. It's kind of like when people go online and I'm going to go online and talk to Chester right here, and call him a pansy. I'm like, hey, you're a pansy. And then he calls me another name.
I'll probably get physical. I'm the type of guy I am.
Oh, yeah. Well, stay away from him, folks. Don't mess with Chester. They call him the investor for a reason. Well, it sounds, you say it's online debating, pretty much?
Well, before that, after the online debate, it turns into an argument, and it will literally evolve into a flame war. When I mean by flame war, it'll turn basically vulgar with profanities, non-stop uses, cap locks, full blown.
I had no idea cap locks were so terrible.
And Jesse, actually a quick question for Mr. Sarek. Do these arguments ever become physical? Like, actually, people just go at it and...
Yeah, dude, when people argue online, do they say, hey, meet me in the playground at 3 o'clock after school?
Sometimes they'll use it as a mocking tactic, they will. But there have been rare occasions that it has turned physical.
Hey, IRL, fight me in real... Wait, that's not right.
But do they fight in cosplay?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh no, it got into cap locks. This is it's real. Oh my gosh, cap locks. Nope, you gotta fight this guy.
There's only been one recorded event where they actually did fight during a Larping event where two cosplayers, not in Texas, but outside of state. And
Well, isn't LARPing about fighting as it is already?
And Mr. Sarek, quick question. Remember, some of these viewers, they're newcomers. What's LARPing?
Actually, I can explain that. LARPing is live action role playing. It doesn't necessarily mean like fighting with the Nerf swords and foamed weapons like with Sleeping Samurai. A lot of people do live action role playing. Like they did a Firefly live action role play at ApolloCon where they actually had shops and businesses and like houses. It was really cool. You play a character and you kind of live it out in person.
And see, I don't want to sound a bit ignorant, but
Too late.
is LARPing and cosplaying the same?
Actually, you can LARP and cosplay, but they're not necessarily the same because in LARP you're playing the role of a different character and your environment is the setting. Where in cosplaying you're kind of playing the character that you're dressing up as, but you're also following the rules of the con. Where LARPing has a different set of rules because a lot of LARPing does involve fighting with foam weapons. And there's a lot of LARPing in Texas. I do recommend that you guys check it out. It's fun. It's really fun. We did a LARP at ApolloCon where we played a bunch of superheroes fighting villains, and I'm not going to give away the ending because they might do it again at one of these future events. But it was really well written. The story, as you went through the story, you played the character. It's kind of like acting in real life. Cosplaying, you kind of just dress up and have fun, but you act as the character sometimes, not all the time.
And I guess some of these people actually take that so serious it becomes an argument between them after they fight.
Well, no. As he was saying, that because of the, let's say me and you are arguing, and we start calling each other names, they will say to them, hey, if you want to throw down, meet me at this place. But they don't actually get physical with each other, I assume, because, as a cosplayer, the last thing I want to do is fight somebody in a costume it took 2 weeks to make.
Well, by the way, I wouldn't think that would be good sportsmanship, even.
It's not a sport.
But I mean, just sportsmanship. I use that term as in, hey, if everybody's there to have fun, why would even somebody get upset just because somebody's a little bit better at an event or something like that?
Cosplaying is a learning experience, so jealousy is not welcome within the community. So, folks, if you see somebody that has a better cosplay, like that's not to say that some cosplays are better than others. Sometimes some cosplays, they might not look the best, but they act as the character on point. There was a cosplayer who cosplayed the Great Saiyaman. His cosplay wasn't the greatest, but yet he acted like you could hear him from the other side of the convention screaming, and every time he passed somebody up, he would greet them in character. See, that's kind of what also escalates cosplayers to becoming really good cosplayers. It's not just the costume that makes you good. Remember, there's a difference between dressing up in a costume and cosplay. You're playing while in the costume. You're acting as the character. Otherwise, you would be just costuming. And a lot of people you don't have to act as the character while in cosplay. No, obviously not. And remember, folks, cosplaying, you are wearing a fictional character's costume. Goku from Dragon Ball Z doesn't actually exist. I kind of wish he did, but at the same time, I'm glad he doesn't. But back to the subject at hand. I mean, do you feel, for the people that get involved in drama, that don't need to be involved, like there's an argument between two people and their friends are suddenly getting in the middle, do you think it's justifiable that other people get involved within the business of others when it didn't call for it?
Well, it's a double-edged sword with that question. On one part, they're coming to the aid of their friend, they're defending them, they want to be there for them, backing them up. And on the other part, you're getting other people that may have had similar encounters with said person that caused the drama.
But that would also escalate the situation. The more people that get involved, the worse the situation is going to get. And that's where a lot of the problems come from, escalation of the said situation. I feel, and this is me personally, I feel like if you go to a con, and if I have a problem with Chester, I'm not going to confront him at the con. I'm not going to talk to him. I'm going to see him. I won't make eye contact. I'll just keep walking. And I feel like, if you have a problem with a said individual, that you should just ignore them. Because you're there to have fun. You're not there to tear the community apart. And the community faces a lot of challenges. I mean, especially with the anime community, because it's a younger audience. And there are a lot of people that are older, but because of the sudden rise in comic book conventions in Texas, you see a lot of the old cosplayers from 2005 to 2010 suddenly switching over to attending more Comic Cons, because it's a little bit more mature, and Comic Cons have stricter rules when it comes to certain things. And quite frankly, I feel like Comic Con is like, you know what, we're not going to play your game, we're not going to deal with this. If you have a problem, please leave the convention. And because Comic-Con has more revenue, they have more sponsors like Bedrock City Comics and major companies like that. I feel like anime cons can't really compete as much. Like Anime Matsuri does have a lot of big sponsors, but I feel like the recent scandal they have gone through hurt them a lot. If anyone attended the last Anime Matsuri, it was said that their numbers were down, even though they reported an increase. Now, I don't want to get too much into Anime Matsuri's business, but sometimes conventions, they will count a 3-day badge as 3 separate people. I'm not saying that Anime Matsuri does that. I'm not accusing them of being anything. I'm just saying this is what happens. This could be the situation. I'm not here to attack Anime Matsuri, but they have been accused. One of the con-chair, if not the main con-chair, I believe, was accused of sexual harassment. Could you believe that? Sexual harassment?
Well,
especially if you represent a major convention like that.
That's kind of, a big topic, especially on that, because, I mean, for once, I have seen some of the cosplayers that go in there, and they wear some outfits that maybe are a bit revealing.
And that's a subject for another podcast. But you know what? If you're in a position of power, like with Anime Matsuri, I think you should watch where you step, because everything you do does. And that's the thing, though, because of the scandal, it kind of divided the community. People were still supporting him, and then there were those who were kind of like crucifying him for these mistakes. And he admitted to making a mistake, the con-chair. He admitted to a mistake. However, the damage was already done.
Well, Mr. Goku, per se on that, I mean, if he admitted it, then that's a big, issue on that. But like I say, personally, I think everything has, 2 sides of the story. One thing, one person says this, some other person might say another thing. Sometimes I think we should wait, listen to both sides of the stories and see where that goes,
But the community started fighting about this, and it caused more drama. It tore a lot of people apart, and it actually ended some friendships, which was surprising. And actually, Miss Tori, do you feel like a lot of drama could be avoided because of the drama that started because of the scandal with Anime Matsuri? A lot of people started fighting amongst themselves. If people just kind of mind their own business, I'm not trying to sound mean or rude or anything, but sometimes you don't need to stick your hand in a cookie jar that doesn't have cookies that belong to you. It's kind of like an employee fridge. If a lot of employees stick their lunch in there and it has their names in it, don't take their lunch. If you see 2 people bickering and it's their business, I feel like you shouldn't get involved, because that's how a lot of escalation goes. And could you say a lot of escalation can be avoided if people just minded their own business?
Pretty much. I mean, if it doesn't concern you, then don't get involved. Unless if it's like serious, like close, friend, almost like family members. Then that's understandable. But until then, don't get involved. Not only that, but I mean, like the whole, not my commission stuff, but like the other person, one of the other recent companies that got their stuff taken from. Also, a lot of drama could be, hey, if you can't afford a commission, don't commission somebody for something. And not only that, but if somebody is going around and you're old to the cosplay community and somebody just so happens to be cosplaying something that you've done, don't feel intimidated by it. It's not your cosplay. I'm sorry, it doesn't matter. It's your cosplay, but it's not your character. You do not own that character legally. So if somebody's going to also cosplay that character, relax. They like the same thing too. They're not going to take your quote-unquote tiara from you. It's like, so calm down. Let them do it. It's not going to harm you.
Mr. Zarek, sir, can you also elaborate on the same question? Do you feel like a lot of drama would not escalate if people learn to not get involved, as in minding their own business?
With this particular question, I have to agree. If it doesn't involve you, don't get involved. But if it starts to escalate and it starts to affect you personally wise with like either a family member or a personal close friend, take your steps and your actions lightly. Plan your course of action of what you're going to be doing, because your actions do have consequences, whether they're tragic or glorious.
When you say tragic, I hope you don't mean that something bad's going to happen. Well, unfortunately, Miss Tori has to go. Thank you for joining us in our podcast.
Thank you. And I'd like to say about the stuff that happened with the commission, if anybody listening is friends or was involved in anything and you know what I'm talking about, this is not to antagonize or to get another riled up stuff. If it's already been closed, it's already over with, don't start trying to stir other stuff up. Leave it dead, pretty much.
Let us say bury 6 feet under.
Well,
farther.
We're going to continue the podcast with Mr. Zarek. However, we're going to go back to we are going to make that disclaimer right now. We do not name people directly to protect them. However, if you do catch who we're talking about, please do not escalate any more situations that don't need to be. We do not condone that. If the situation has already come to a halt, please we're just trying to point out things that happen, talk about where we can kind of improve the situations in case someone is running into the exact same thing. And I know drama doesn't just happen at cons. It happens at cosplay gatherings. It happens with friends who are cosplayers. Unfortunately, these problems do leak into the convention, and that's kind of like where they escalate. It's kind of like giving a bodybuilder steroids.
I believe it's a big community and we can all just go and live freely. Everybody can go have the fun they need. There's no space for drama, because like I said, all this space, all this time, at the end of the day, we're there to have fun and enjoy something that we all like and we can be a part of as a big old friend, groups of people that can just manage and help each other out.
I also agree. We need to remember that the cosplaying is not a serious competition. Cosplaying was designed as a hobby, to have fun, to basically become your character, roleplay.
Well, it's not just with the cosplay community. I feel like a lot of the drama also comes from the gaming community, and I can understand why. Gaming has a lot of competition. Gamers, it's the heat of the moment. You're in your mind, you're the best around, and nothing's gonna ever take you down. A little bit of a Karate Kid reference there, but it could be Magic card players, Yu-Gi-Oh card players, video gamers. Any kind of rivalry could escalate into drama, and it seems like a lot of the drama does come from the cosplaying portion of the community, but it's not just there. that they could provide 40% of the drama that plagues the cons, but that's still not all of it. I mean, also, like, do you know any gamers that are within drama themselves as well?
Yes, I actually do know a couple individuals. Like you said, it does extend from that. It could be from online competition. Let's see here, tournaments between Yu-Gi-Oh card players, Magic the Gathering card players. It could be any sorts of issues or disagreements, topics, what have you. Not just from gaming, also from different other in between different fandoms, which fandom is popular, which is the better one, etc., etc. There's a lot that basically will spill over.
I mean, I honestly don't feel like we can get rid of drama. I feel like we can improve the situation, though. Help prevent some of it. Never say never, because you can never say the drama won't happen to you, because eventually it will lurk its ugly face into your life and you will be found in the middle. And drama doesn't just happen in this community, it happens in life. Lots of things happens in our life. Relationships go south, friendships go south, your job, vehicle, anything could escalate. I know my co-host here, Mr. Chester, had drama in his life. He's currently going through some situations in his life that we won't go into detail, but he is new to the community and his problems aren't part of the community, but they could escalate because he could have friends that are cosplayers or gamers who are part of the community, and they could spread his business on the internet. And that's the thing, though. That's where a lot of the escalation happens, or that's where it even starts the fire that is drama. Because, like, the internet, a lot of us joined social media to bring the community closer, to make the world smaller, to connect, to network with people from other states, cities, other parts of this country, other countries, I mean, not, other continents. It doesn't matter. We joined Facebook to connect with these people that we normally can't see on an everyday basis. But people use this as well as a weapon to divide. Do you feel like there are also people who manipulate others into fighting for their own beneficial end game? Like, let's say somebody that's interested in a person, but they have a partner, and so they help fuel a fire that starts drama, and then they escalate it by getting other people involved. Do you feel like individuals exist like that in the community that actually force drama upon others for an end game?
Yes, they do exist. They are either manipulated into being pawns indirectly or directly. It will basically bring strangers that are neutral, and then they're somehow involved either by making them angry towards this person that's causing the drama, or directing their act of jealousy to another individual that has nothing to do with this. They will basically spread slanderous lies, rumors, deceitful background stories of falsifying information, what have you.
What do you think, Chester? As someone that's new to the community, does all this seem overwhelming? Does it kind of discourage you from doing more with the community? That's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to discourage future cosplayers or future gamers or future attendees of these conventions. We're acknowledging that these problems exist, because a lot of other cosplaying groups or gaming groups, these groups will not acknowledge these problems, and that's what we want to do, because in order to fix the community, you have to go and fix the problems. Sweeping it under the floor mat isn't going to solve it. as a person that's getting involved with the community, do you feel overwhelmed?
Well, Goku, it is overwhelming knowing that all these people go through all this drama, all these issues. It's actually kind of scary, if you're coming into all of this, because maybe, just think twice about even going to a convention if it's gonna be like this. Isn't it? You're not gonna have fun. So what's the point of it? At sometimes
I would like to add though, we're not saying conventions aren't fun. Conventions are awesome. I mean, I had a great time. We went to Kamikaze Con back in 2010. We partied with iShine. We hung out with Johnny Young Bosch, the voice actor for Ichigo and Lelouch from Code Geass, and Ichigo's from Bleach. He also played Adam in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in Season 2, 3. He also played in Power Rangers Zeo, and he played for the first half of Power Rangers Turbo. We invited him to our room, and he got pretty plastered, to say the least. And it was pretty funny because he was like, "Oh, I'm a Power Ranger. I'm a Power Ranger." And his band was there partying with us. Poor Johnny. He was so hungover the next day. And unfortunately, Jason David Frank showed up. So he made a surprise appearance at the con for the Power Ranger panel. And Johnny was like, "Oh, crap." Because Jason is like this high energy, yeah, let's do this kind of guy. And Johnny's over there with a massive headache, and the rest of his band members are on the floor in the back of the panel room, wishing one of them was like, "Oh, I just want to die." Cons are fun. You just have to go and have a wonderful experience. Take your friends, meet voice actors, meet actors, make friends, attend some of the panels. We host a panel called the Cosplay Dating Game Battle Royale, and that's a fun panel, but is an adult panel. Mr. Zerixer, you have...
Yeah. When it comes to the cons, first-timers, experience everything. Don't let no one intimidate you. If they do, stand your ground.
Well, no, we're not encouraging you to fight.
No. What I mean by stand your ground, I mean, don't let their words affect you physically and mentally. Just bounce them off. You are there to have fun.
When you say physically, you mean like the people that walk around with the yaoi paddles and spank you?
Them too.
Wow. Well, I mean, drama is one of the very foundations that plagues every community. Whether you're a geek, you're a nerd, whether you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, whether you're a Superman fan, whether you're a One Punch Man, or if you're a Magic fan, a Yu-Gi-Oh fan, a Pokemon fan, or a Digimon fan, if you're The Rock or Stone Cold Steve Austin, if you are a trailblazing, eyebrow-raising, beer-drinking, toughest SOB that ever walked the earth, it doesn't matter. Remember, cons are like vacations, and we go to these to have fun, to connect, to socialize, to enjoy the experience, and that is not one of the places that you want to fight. Any last remarks?
Yeah, there are a couple. For the first-time goers, like I said, a repeat of what I'm saying. You're there.
Instant replay.
You're there to have fun. This is your first time. Make new friends. Experience everything that the con has to offer.
Well, we also don't want to cater to the first timers. Let's give a message out to the veterans. Okay. Remember, it doesn't matter whether you've been to 5 cons, 20 cons, or 100 cons. Every con should be as fun as the last. Remember, folks, cons are mini vacations. It could be a vacation for you. I enjoy them. I love going to some of the panels. The comedy-based panels are funny. And there are some adult panels that are very funny and are very adult.
Yeah. Also, don't be... Let's see here.
Don't be a snob.
Yeah. Don't be a snob. Don't be... Well, let's see here. I'm trying to find the right word.
Well, to put it in simpler terms, remember, no one cosplayer is better than the other. Unless you are actually animated on a piece of paper, then you are 100% not the character.
Or get paid for it.
Yeah, I mean, well, even if you get paid for it, you're not better than me. I don't know. I don't want to see you in a mini skirt. I definitely wouldn't pay you for that. I mean, honestly, we are not these characters. We are ourselves. We are unique individuals, and so are these characters that are created for our entertainment. And that's what it all comes down to, entertainment. Cosplay, you don't need it to survive. Some people make a living off selling prints of cosplay, but it is not vital for the human existence.
The human condition is necessary. We're here to have fun. We're here to be brothers to one another, to help each other out.
And sisters.
You're right. Like I said, we're all one big family on this little planet called Earth.
I don't know that. I know there's a lot of celebrities I'd rather not be related to. Just to be... And with that, we're going to bring this podcast to a close. I am your host, Jesse Goku, and this is my co-host, Chester the Investor. Now, before we cut the actual podcast, I would like to make a major announcement a lot of people have been waiting for. Now, Geeks5E is hosting currently a cosplay contest specifically for the state of Texas. It is called the Texan Cosplayer Contest. It is an online contest. You have until May 20th to submit your cosplay right now at facebook.com/geeks5ever. Also, our website is coming soon. We're just really poor. But the prize for the cosplay contest has yet to be announced. And I am happy to announce that it's kind of sad really because we only have one prize. But the winner of the contest will receive a $100 PayPal gift card that you can use for anything. You can buy stuff off eBay, and a lot of businesses like Toys R Us and I think Joann's, they accept PayPal now, and you can get a PayPal debit card nowadays. I mean, yeah, $100, man. What could you do with $100?
Go to a Chinese buffet.
Yeah, buffet sounds good, especially when your name is Goku. $100 gift card for PayPal. Man, and that is a sponsored prize too. So I would like to thank our unnamed sponsor for actually contributing to the contest. Also, for our Houston listeners, we are proud to announce that we are working with the Houston Geek Faction group right now as it is. And we're working with other groups. And we're going to bring a Houston-only cosplay contest for the summer. And we might even host a meetup or we might actually book a small meeting room or something. We might do a ceremony. Also, we're working on future events. I mean, Chester has his own web show with Geeks5E. What is the name of the show you're doing? He's hosting. Actually, we're doing one together. It's called Jesse versus Chester because we share the same names from the guys from Dude, Where's My Car? So we'll be playing old video games while also competing against each other. Also, John Rangel will be the host of the terrible fan fiction bedtime stories. Also, that one I'm looking forward to. He's going to read fan fiction in all of its bad grammar, misspelled word glory. That sounds funny. Also, we're doing what I see on the shit I see on Facebook, and we're still currently doing Word on the Streets, but it is a Turtle Cosplay exclusive podcast, and my own personal podcast, which is Dragon Ball 24/7 podcast, where I talk about all things Dragon Ball. Remember, folks, I'm Jesse Goku. Please like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Check us out on Mixlr. That's a free app. We do live broadcasting. Check us out check out our YouTube channel. Please support us. Also check out KRGB Houston. Check out the Geek Faction, Houston Geek Faction. They're a group on Facebook. Also check out, our future videos. Also, Comic Palooza is at the George R. Brown Convention Center in Houston, Texas. So if you haven't bought your con passes, do so right now. They are doing a discount for early registration. Check us out at Delta H-Con, Comic Palooza, and hopefully other conventions this year. Geeks5E is a growing community. We're here We're members of the community. We're cosplayers, we're gamers, we're nerds, we're geeks, and we're here to establish and help rebuild a community that is breaking apart. I'm Jesse Goku, and stay classy.